Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for a few people to join before we start. If you're here, you can write where you're from in the comments and any questions you have about IELTS that we can look at later. A few people joining. Okay, it's just 6 o'clock now. We'll just wait another minute. Welcome everybody that's here. Okay, we'll wait another few seconds for people to join. Welcome anyone that's here for this IELTS webinar. It's just gone 6 o'clock. Okay, so we'll start now. So hello everyone, welcome to this webinar. I'm thrilled to have all of you here with us today. My name is Ciara Murphy and I'm very excited to guide you through this session. Before we dive in, make sure you're all comfortable, get some coffee or tea, and we'll get ready for an engaging and very informative experience. So as I said, as you join, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, say where you're from and what you're excited about learning today. And remember, this is an interactive session. Don't hesitate to drop any questions into the comments. There'll also be some information in the comment section about our courses and some free consultations as well that we can look at after. So we've got an exciting agenda ahead. So let's get started and learn something new together. So a few questions. Have you been studying for the exam for months, doing practice tests, yet your hard work isn't translating into high scores? Perhaps you feel you know English very well, but something always holds you back during your exam. You are not alone. It often isn't a lack of vocabulary or grammar, it's that you are not studying for the exam effectively. The problem is most candidates study English generally rather than focusing on specific exam structure. The solution involves having the right strategy and training for each section. So this is today's webinar, Fast Track Your IELTS Success. We'll have 5 tips for each section of the exam ready for you to apply instantly. And today I'll show you exactly what those who achieve high scores on the test do and how you can easily apply it to your own studies. So today, you'll gain valuable insights into mastering all 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. If any of these problems seem familiar to you, watch to the end of this webinar. So why do I always struggle with the audio being played just once and want to hear the listening track again? Why can't I ever manage to complete the reading test in the allotted hour time? I never know how to plan and organize my essays. And I know I don't make many mistakes, but I still cannot get a high score in the speaking exam. By the end of this session, you'll have practical strategies for these problems and more for each section that you can start applying immediately to boost your IELTS score. Plus, importantly, we'll have a live question and answer session where you can ask your questions and get personalized advice from me. So don't miss out on this opportunity to accelerate your IELTS success. So wait till the end for that. So today we're going to have a quick introduction, which we've started, and then there's going to be 5 tips for each section: writing, reading, listening, and speaking, followed by a question and answer session, as I mentioned. So post any questions you have in the comment section, and there'll also be links to my offers and courses, and also to free consultations where we can have a chat one-to-one about your next step on your IELTS journey. So my name is Kieran Murphy, an expert in IELTS preparation with nearly 2 decades of experience teaching in various countries, including France, Portugal, Poland, Brazil, and Spain. As an IELTS examiner and certified teacher trainer, I've guided over 3,000 students to success across the globe. With a master's degree from University College Cork, I specialise in tailored strategies that target all aspects of the exam. My passion truly lies in exam preparation courses, helping students to achieve their language goals, whether it's getting a job in another country, getting a place in university, or simply moving to the place they've always wanted to live. And today, I'm excited to share effective techniques that will elevate your performance and help you achieve your desired score. So when I meet students for the first time, many of them struggle to actually start the writing task 2. And that's why I decided to start with writing task and use a solution to this problem as the first tip. So many of my students, when I meet them, either waste or skip time in the initial steps of the essay. I can teach you clear, effective steps to follow for every writing task 2 to set you on the path to writing success. So to put it simply, there are 3 steps: identify, brainstorm, and plan. So step 1, we need to identify the question. What exactly are you as a candidate required to do in this task? For example, we have a task here. Crime rates are increasing every year. What are the reasons and solutions to this? We need, as a response to this question, to identify key causes of crime and then also provide possible solutions to those causes. I had one student who kept failing to achieve their desired score because they jumped into answers without carefully considering the question. But all this changed once we started working together. This is something we will cover in the course, and with me, you will become more confident in approaching writing task 2 questions because you will be equipped with a clear step-by-step strategy. So after we identify the question, another major mistake I notice when students come to me is they start then to write the actual main body of the answer without considering the content, the main ideas. Here and on the courses, you will learn how to generate relevant ideas that provide the content for your essays. So step 2, after identifying the question, is brainstorming. We need to come up with ideas and content. So if you brainstormed effectively, your notes to this question on crime might look something like this. We've brainstormed 3 causes, for example, lack of visual prevention, punishments are too light, and poverty. Also, we've brainstormed 3 corresponding solutions. The solutions to this are increasing visual prevention, heavier punishments, and providing free work skills programs. Here we have all of the ideas we need, all of the content to put into our essay. Finally, in terms of the initial steps, we have planning. So after brainstorming ideas, many students still fail to organize them in a coherent and logical way in terms of overall text organization, which loses vital marks and points. On my courses, you will become proficient in applying correct structures to your essays to ensure you achieve high marks. So, plan the structure and paragraphing of your essay. Of course, we had 3 causes and 3 solutions, but we don't need to pick all of them. 2 is sufficient for each, 2 causes and 2 solutions. A strong structure for a cause-solution style task would be like this. Introduction, followed by cause 1, then solution 1, second cause, and then the solution to this cause, followed by a conclusion. Now, this is something that will be covered on my courses, so you can improve your text organization and structure and boost your score by signing up. Remember, all the links are in the comments section here. So, and also, if you subscribe now, because you were in the webinar, you get 20% off and places are limited. So subscribe now. Moving on to the next one. The question I always get, what is the overall trend? How do I identify it and present it? So a lot of students fail to achieve a high score in writing task 1 as they are both unaware of and or unable to present the overall trend. So it's an easy choice as the second tip. So what is the overall trend? It's a summary sentence describing what happens overall in the movement of the graph. Without this, you cannot achieve a score of 7 or higher in task 1. For example, let's look at this task 1 question. It's about households that are owned and rented in England and Wales from 1918 to 2011. As you can see, the owned homes increased while rented homes decreased over time. So for this graph, an overall trend, which would achieve a high mark, would be something like this. Overall, we can observe that while owned homes grew, rented ones fell during the period. Imagining the reader cannot see the graph or chart is key here. Without even seeing the graph, just from our overall trend, the reader has a general idea of what happened from reading your overall trend sentence. Again, this overall trend will be covered in the course. So if you want to be able to identify and present a clear overall trend for writing task 1 and boost your score, sign up to one of my courses. All the links are in the comments. Now, you want to impress the examiner from the first moment. Many IELTS candidates find it difficult to compose an introduction to writing task 1 that will really impress the examiner. And I will now show you a solution to writing an effective and clear introduction for writing task 2. These set you apart from the rest. This is what you want. You want to impress them from the first sentence. You want a concise, effective, and clear introduction that will make the examiner sit back and realize that you are a high-level candidate. So now I will show you 2 key introductory sentences for writing task 2 that will set you up for success. For instance, going back to our writing task 2 on crime, the introduction to this would contain 2 sentences. Firstly, we would paraphrase the title. So the title was Crime Rates Are Increasing Every Year. This could be paraphrased into, there has been an annual growth in illegal activity. I've used different words. Instead of crime rates, I've used illegal activity. Instead of increasing, I've used growth. Instead of every year, annual. I'm showing the examiner what I know. I'm showing that I have flexible use of English and that I'm aware how to pass this test. And this is something you'll learn on the course. You can change your introductions immediately with me so that you impress and engage the examiner, boost your score, and you will achieve a higher mark overall. Again, subscribe to the courses. They're in the comments, and because you're here, you get 20% off. Then, once we've done our introduction, we have the main paragraphs. Another common hurdle within this that students often struggle with is how to put their ideas in coherent paragraphs once they've brainstormed and they've planned the overall structure. Now, I will show you 4 simple steps to produce coherent and detailed paragraphs. So, we organize our paragraphs clearly using the ODEC structure: opinion, develop, example, and conclusion. Let's look at an example. So going back to our writing task 2 on crime, and the first paragraph in our plan was the first cause 1, which was a lack of visual prevention. Now, I said the structure is ODEC, beginning with O, which is opinion. So our main point of the paragraph is that there is a lack of visual prevention. D, develop how or why this results in an increase of crime. So we have potential criminals are not discouraged from committing crimes because there's a low possibility of being caught. Thirdly, we have example, a clear, tangible example to support our opinion. For instance, a robber who has targeted an elderly woman to mug late in the evening can do so without much fear of being identified by the police. And finally, a conclusion to wrap up the paragraph and to show the reader, who is the examiner, the paragraph is finished and we're moving on to the next point. A summary sentence. Here, you basically paraphrase the opinion, again, showing your flexibility of the language and sticking to the main point. So how to structure paragraphs will be covered extensively on my courses. So if you want to turn incoherent and confusing paragraphs into clear, detailed, and coherently structured paragraphs that will immediately boost your score, sign up to one of my courses. Again, the links are in the comments. Finally, for writing, when I correct diagnostic tests of new students, one aspect that often jumps out is how phrases to express agreement and disagreement are often limited and repetitive. So it was an easy choice to include a solution to this here. So we should use varied phrases to express agreement and disagreement, something that you are asked to do so often in writing task 2. The question, to what extent do you agree or disagree with a certain statement? So most candidates will repeat the same phrases. I agree with the statement, I disagree with the statement. You need to stand out with varied language. And I will show you some less common key phrases for expressing agreement and disagreement now to differentiate you from the crowd. For example, we have expressing agreement. Instead of saying I agree, you could say I am a proponent of, I am an advocate of, and I am in favor of. They are all synonyms of to agree, yet they're so much richer. They're showing your flexibility of a language and they will impress the examiner. Similarly, when expressing disagreement, you've got I am a detractor of, I am not a proponent of, I am not an advocate of. Now, you will learn these phrases and more on my courses. So increase your score immediately by learning to use a wide range of less common and impressive phrases that are essential for writing task 2. Again, the links are in the comments, so sign up. And again, remember, because you are here, you get 20% off and the places are limited. So are you committed to improving your writing skills? Our courses offer coaching to refine your writing style and improve your scores. So consider joining one of our courses. We have an intensive 1-month writing course. It's perfect for those with time constraints, providing a rapid yet in-depth review of the exam strategies for writing. It's 2 hours a week, once a week for 4 weeks. Also, we have the 10-week and 20-week courses. The 10-week, you have 90 minutes twice a week. And then you have the 20-week, which is once a week for 90 minutes. They cover all of the exam parts, but there will be, of course, a focus on writing in them. If you're still not sure of what to do, you can sign up to a free consultation with me, and the link will be in the comments, and we can talk together about your next step, which course will be best for you, what's your time frame, what are your steps in preparation. We will now move on to an area of the exam where students often struggle to improve their score despite repeatedly completing practice tests. This is the listening skills section. And now we'll explore helpful strategies to enhance your comprehension and performance. So the first tip is connected with being an active listener. One of the biggest challenges faced by IELTS candidates is focusing on the details and getting them down on paper. So this tip addresses this common difficulty. Stop being a passive listener. Improve your score by becoming an active listener. This involves taking notes as you listen to focus on details. So how do we do this? Engage with authentic materials for better comprehension and keep practicing your note-taking skills. This active listening will improve your overall comprehension and provide exposure to different accents, different speeds of speech. So listen and take notes, and it will empower you in the listening. You will take control of the listening and therefore boost your confidence and approach when doing listening tasks, both in IELTS and in other exams. Remember, the audio is only played once in the exam, so get used to writing as you listen, because you'll have to do it in the exam. The next tip is connected with being prediction. A common flaw or mistake in students' approach is to not take advantage of the time provided before the audio plays, and I will show you a way to use this time productively to improve your score. Use this time sensibly. It's a key step in the listening section in order to familiarize yourself with the task and make predictions about what the answers could be. As mentioned in the first tip, you need to stop being a passive listener, become a more active participant. You are actually given around 20 to 30 seconds, depending on the task, to do this before the audio starts. Focusing on the questions and predicting what the answer might be will help you when it comes to actually identifying the answer when listening. Underline keywords and phrases in the task to help you focus in on the potential answer and think and predict what type of answer it will be. For example, will it be a noun, a verb in the past tense, a verb in the future tense? Will it be a number, a name, a place? All of these things you can think about while you are waiting for the audio to play. And it's important, it's not vital to be 100% correct with your guess. You're just getting one step closer to the answer, so you're ready when the audio actually plays. This is also an effective way of maintaining focus between sections, so you're ready as soon as the audio plays to answer the questions. Use these 30 seconds productively. Again, this is something that we will cover in the course extensively. So if you want to learn to practice and how to predict possible listening answers so that you are ready to gain valuable points when the audio is played, sign up for one of my courses. You will see the links in the comments below. And because, again, you're in this webinar, there's 20% off and places are limited. Again, you can also sign up, if you're not sure, to a free consultation with me. We'll have a one-to-one chat about your next step and any other doubts that you might have. Moving on to the next step. It's a recurring issue for those doing IELTS is getting confused or tricked by distractors and noting down the first answer they hear. This tip that's coming up will help you become more aware of these and how to spot them so they don't lower your score. In questions that have multiple options, the speaker will mention several incorrect ones to trick you. These are distractors that separate those who get average and higher scores. Focus on keywords like however to pinpoint the correct answer. Also, make sure the answer fits into the sentence. One more issue that affects many IELTS learners in the listening exam is losing points due to failing to recognize synonyms, words of a similar meaning used in the audio to indicate the answer. And this tip will help you be aware of this and take the first steps to recognizing and utilizing these synonyms in order to gain valuable points. Synonyms are used to test and trick candidates. Expanding your vocabulary will help you recognize synonyms that are crucial for scoring high. The speaker will paraphrase the language in the task, and the wider range of vocab you have, the more answers you will get. For example, there could be a question. What did the man say about the company? There's three options. It had a very successful year. It started in 2005. It did not make a lot of money. Now, the speaker in the audio said it was founded in 2005. So founded is a synonym of started. So the answer is B. Knowing this will help you get a good score. So I will help you work with practice tests to get exposure to the most common synonyms used and boost your vocabulary so you're able to access these points that use synonyms to test candidates. So sign up to one of the courses. The links are in the comments. So you start now gaining more points through recognizing the use of synonyms in the audio. The final issue related to the listening exam that affects many of the students when I meet them is that even though they've completed countless listening tests, their score does not improve. This tip addresses that issue directly by focusing on how to learn from your mistakes and eradicating them. So we all know that completing a listening practice task and finding your total score is a valuable task. However, simply doing this limits the potential of the task. So getting a friend or study partner to correct the test for you will allow you to re-listen to the audio and try to identify the answers you had initially got correct. After this, you can analyze your errors and identify recurring errors. For example, do you often make mistakes when labeling maps? Do you often make mistakes choosing the correct answer in multiple choice tasks? Do you often make spelling mistakes? This will train your listening skills rather than simply testing them and will help you prevent making them in the future. So, start to practice for the listening exam more productively with tailored feedback to your listening practice tasks so that you can work on your weaknesses and turn them into points to boost your score. This is an aspect extensively covered in my courses, so sign up. Again, the links are in the comments. So enhance your listening skills with personalized practice sessions. You can select from one of our courses. Here you have the 1 month intensive, you've got the 10-week or the 20-week courses, which cover all 4 skills, of course, with a focus on listening. Or you have individual lessons with me that are tailored to your needs. And of course, if listening is one of your weaknesses, we will deal with that. Also, you can sign up for a free consultation with me. We will go through your next steps for the listening. So, to finish here, stop spending hours on countless listening practice tests and learn to practice more effectively. I promise you will boost your listening score immediately by signing up to one of my courses. Now, let's shift our focus to the reading skills section. Here, we'll delve into techniques to effectively analyze and interpret texts. So, the first tip is to develop a habit of reading. Something I notice with new IELTS students is that they have difficulty getting through and processing 3 lengthy texts in the reading exam. So on my courses, we work on developing the habit of and love for reading. Frequent and diverse reading will sharpen your ability. When it comes to reading, like listening, you should spend considerable time reading extensively long texts like newspaper articles, novels, to perfect your reading techniques. Read for pleasure. Choose a topic you're fond of and search for articles connected to that topic. Remember, reading skills can be improved regardless of the language used or topic. And again, by signing up for one of my courses, reading the IELTS text will become less of a challenge as you will become more of a proficient reader overall. Again, moving on, many IELTS students struggle with reading the text efficiently in order to find the answers and complete the tasks within the allotted time. So the next tip, I will show you 2 reading skills that are essential to boosting your score. So once you get into the habit of reading extensively, the next step is to know the specific reading skills successful candidates use. So there are 2 main reading skills that we will use on the exam. Firstly, skimming. What is skimming? It is quickly reading the passage to get a general idea of the text. Following this, we scan. What is scanning? It's looking for specific information such as names, numbers, or keywords. It's like the way we would read a bus timetable or a train timetable. We scan for the piece of information that we want. So take an online newspaper article and quickly read it, so skim it, to get the general idea of the content. For example, a bank robbery in London. Then read again and note down any details, names, numbers, places, and what they refer to. For example, 26, it's the age of the criminal. In practice tasks and in the exam, you should skim before you scan the text. Once you skim, you have an overall idea, then you will read the questions, then you go back and you scan for the information that you know you're looking for. Don't waste time reading the questions before reading the text. Skim, look at the task, and then go back and scan. And these are, again, techniques that we will look at on the course. So enrolling in my IELTS course will equip you with effective reading sub-skills, which will enhance your ability to comprehend and analyze text efficiently. So if you want to use reading skills to boost your score, sign up below. The courses are in the links to the courses are in the comments. And again, you get 20% off because you are here. So look at you. The next tip is similar to what we looked in listening. We looked at one issue that affects many IELTS learners, which was synonyms, the use of synonyms. And this is also applicable for the reading exam. Candidates constantly lose marks, like in listening, due to failing to recognize synonyms that are used in the text to indicate the answer. And this tip will help you to be aware of this, and we will take the first steps to recognizing and utilizing synonyms to gain valuable points. So the exam uses synonyms to trick and confuse and distract you, but on my course, you will learn how to recognize these and use them. For example, we have a question here. What was John Archer's opinion of the new traffic law? There's three possible answers. A, he hated it. B, he thought it was a good idea. Or C, he had not decided if it was a good idea yet. Now, the text contained the sentence, Arch found the new law appealing. Now, the key word is appealing. What does it mean? To find something appealing means to like something. So the answer would be B. He thought it was a good idea. We know this because we recognize the synonym appealing. So I will help you work with practice texts to get exposure to the most common synonyms used and to boost your vocabulary so you are able to access valuable points that you may have been losing out on so far to immediately boost your score. The next problem with reading is one that's very, very common. When it comes to this tip, I will never forget one student who came to me in such a frustrated state because no matter how much he practiced, he could not tell the difference between true, false, and not given answers in the reading exam. So I shared this tip with him, and now I will share it with you to help you become more aware of this difference to gain important and achievable points. So one of the most common challenges is the difference between true, false, and not given. Look at this for an example. The text says, penguins can live to more than 20 years old. The question, penguins often live to be older than 20 years old. Now, a lot of my students when I meet them write true or false. However, the answer is not given. While it is possible for penguins to live to more than 20 years, they can live. There is no indication how often this occurs. It may be very rare or it may be very common. So by signing up to one of my courses, I will help you to identify which answers are true, false, and not given, so you can boost your score. Missing valuable points in this common question type will be part of history. The links for my courses are in the comments. Sign up for the courses and immediately improve your ability to recognize what is not given, what is true, and what is false. And remember, there's 20% off for anyone watching the webinar. The final obstacle experienced by IELTS candidates in the reading test that I want to look at today is similar to something we touched on in tip 2, but it involves being able to complete 40 questions within the allotted hour time. So I will show you how to improve your ability to meet the timing demands of this exam. So the key is to practice under time conditions to improve your efficiency. Students who start lessons with me after having failed to achieve higher than a band 5.5 or 6 in the reading section, when we do the tests, I notice that they spend at least up to 10 minutes to read the text. Then they're only leaving 10 minutes to answer the questions. This will not be doable. It's almost impossible to spend half the time reading the text and then expect to complete 13 questions in the remaining time. People read at a slow pace, and the problem is they try to understand every single word and every detail. It's not possible under exam conditions. Think back to our reading skills, to skim, to read quickly, to get a general idea of the text. This is what we must do, rather than reading at a slow pace, trying to understand everything. So when completing practice tasks, stick to the timing you have to work with in the actual exam. This means your initial reading of the text should take 3 to 4 minutes, leaving you 16 minutes to answer 13 questions. I will help you with strategies to complete the tasks for a text within this time frame. So many students come to me and they say, I usually get 39 out of 40, 38 out of 40, even 40 out of 40 on practice reading practice text. However, when we do it together, I notice that they're spending 30 to 40 minutes on each text, which is not the time you have in the exam. So you should stick to the timing rule of one text for each 20 minutes. Don't dwell on trickier questions. Remember, each question is worth 1 point. So move on to the easier questions and gain easy points, and go back to the harder ones when or if you have time. So regular practice tasks with me will help you stay familiar with each task and question type, so you know what to expect and you're comfortable with whatever you face on the reading exam. This is, again, something we will cover on the course. So by signing up for my IELTS course, you will learn essential strategies that would enable you to complete all of the reading tasks efficiently and on time. So boost your score by signing up. The links are in the comments. Remember, if you're still unsure about what you should do next, book a free consultation with me as well. The link for those are in the comments also. So I want you to unleash your reading potential. We have personalized and intensive practice sessions. We've got a course, again, a range of courses. We have the 10-week or 20-week course that covers all 4 skills, or we have individual classes which will be tailored specifically to you. And if reading is one of your weaknesses, we will work on them, and I promise we will boost your score immediately. So the final skill I want to look at is what I usually start on day 1 of a preparation course. And this is one that students can quickly make progress in with the correct guidance. So let's proceed to the speaking skills section, where we'll discuss key strategies to boost your fluency and confidence during the exam. So firstly, a concern that even strong candidates often face when they come to my lessons is worrying about questions that will be asked and how to prepare for the speaking exam. Now, I will reveal to you what you can do to predict the type of questions that will be asked in part 1. So many believe you cannot predict what will be asked. It's not true. We can have an idea of the type of questions that will come up, and we will practice them repeatedly. The most common topics for part 1 of the exam are based on you. Personal topics that are used as a warm-up for the more challenging speaking sections later, sections 1 and 2. So together, we will anticipate and practice responses for common topics like your home, your work or studies, your hobbies, family, and daily life activities. Remember, the examiner is not the expert on this. You are. You are the expert on these topics. So be confident. So by signing up to one of my courses, you will immediately become more confident walking into the speaking exam. You will know and you will be prepared for the opening questions. So boost your score, sign up to the course. They are in the links are in the comments, and immediately together we'll work on boosting your confidence in the first speaking part, and which will run into the rest of the exam and will boost your speaking score overall. Another question I often get from new students is, why do I usually run out of things to say in the speaking exam? However, there are clear and tangible ways to address this and boost your score, which we will look at now. You need to develop your answers comprehensively and elaborate on personal experiences. So it's simple. The more you develop your answers, the better score you will get. Go beyond providing yes or no answers. Remember, this is a show me what you can do exam. The examiner wants to give you points, so show them what you can do. Answering yes or no doesn't show your range of language, doesn't show all the work you've put in. Show them what you can do and win the points from them by answering questions like how, why, where, with who. This part of the speaking exam is about you. So include examples from your life and your experience. For example, take the question on the screen, do you like going to the cinema? Go beyond just responding yes or no. State, I am a frequent visitor to the cinema. I am drawn to it, so I like it because of the immense screen and cutting edge sound system, the very technological sound system. For instance, last week, I went to see the new Star Wars movie and it blew me away. So it really impressed me. You can see if one candidate comes in and answers the question, yes, I like going to the cinema, and the second candidate, you, after our course, will answer a question like this on the screen. You can see who is going to get 7 plus and who is going to stay at 5.5 or 6. So developing your answers is something we will cover on the course. So transform your speaking answers into more developed, clearer, and detailed ones to boost your score by signing up for one of the courses. Again, the links are in the comments. So subscribe now. And again, because you're luckily in the webinar, you get 20% off. And remember, places are limited. So subscribe now. The next tip, moving on to the next tip, it's about vocabulary. So many students who come to me after attempting the exam once or even more times claim they don't make mistakes in the speaking exam, yet they still can't reach that level 7 or above. Now we will look at ways to boost any low scores in speaking for the candidate who generally produces accurate English. The key is to use sophisticated and less common language to show your language range and proficiency. It's simple. The wider range of less common language you use and you integrate into your answer, the better chance you will have of boosting your score. Avoid phrases such as I like, I don't like. The examiner will hear these all day. You need to enrich your answers with phrases such as I am fond of, I am keen on. These are synonyms of I like, but they're less common and they will show your range and they will impress the examiner. These will make you stand out from the crowd. Let's look at two contrasting answers to the question, do you like going to the cinema? A weaker answer, like we saw earlier, would be, yes, I like going to the cinema. A stronger answer would be, yes, I'm fond of the cinema because of the immense screen and cutting-edge sound system. For instance, last week, I went to see the new Star Wars movie and it blew me away. You can see here the range of vocab that make the examiner stand back. You've got I am fond of, immense screen, cutting edge. For instance, it blew me away. In one answer, you're going to get tick, 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 and you will get lots of points from the examiner. So stop repeating the same basic vocabulary in your answers. Start to impress the examiner by expressing your ideas using less common language that will boost your score. And we will cover this extensively in the course. And I promise if you subscribe now to one of the courses, you will boost your vocabulary immediately. The fourth tip when it comes to speaking is a recurring issue again, which will address nervousness and a lack of confidence when required to speak for 2 minutes in speaking part 2. Students constantly tell me they cannot speak for 2 minutes. However, this is simply not true. It's not that they cannot, it's just they have not had the correct training and guidance. Together, we will build confidence through gradual practice, allowing yourself to comfortably speak for longer periods as you build up from shorter durations. So in part 2 of the exam, if you look at the new slide, you will be asked to talk about a topic like this. For example, a toy which you enjoyed most in your childhood, and you get 4 prompts: what it was, where you got it, who you played with, and how you enjoyed playing with it. You need to practice speaking about topics that are familiar to you. For example, a toy which you enjoyed about. You definitely have the ability to talk about a toy that you enjoyed for 2 minutes. However, what we will do is start with short periods, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, building up to 1 minute, etc. We will build up your confidence and speaking skills gradually with support, rather than getting frustrated when you can't speak fluently for 2 minutes immediately. So you can listen back to your recordings, send your recordings to your teacher, to me, to assess your fluency, coherence, and topic development as you make progress in this part of the exam. So improve your confidence in part 2 of the speaking immediately through clear and effective techniques, again, that will boost your score in this part and overall. And this is something that we cover in the course, again, extensively. The links for the courses are in the comments. Subscribe now. Again, places are limited, and we would love to see you on the course. Again, if you're unsure of what to do, if you're unsure of your speaking level, of the level of any other section of the exam, sign up for one of the free consultations with me. The link for those is in the comments also, and we can have a chat about your strengths, weaknesses, what your next step is. The final tip in speaking is when I hear the phrase, "I don't know what else to say." Again, we touched on it in tip 4, but this applies to every question. I often hear this from students when they struggle to answer a question effectively. So this was a logical choice to address before finishing. You need to enhance your responses by adding negatives to what probably the positives that you've mentioned already, especially in longer monologues. When I hear a student say, "I don't know what else to say," we look at what they've said already. And while it tends to be relevant content, it is all positive. Do not be afraid to expand or develop your answers by saying something negative. For instance, a common question is, what is your favorite room in your home? Now, candidates mention the usual aspects, such as there's a lot of space, there's a comfortable bed, it's my own space, I can relax there. These are all valid and useful. However, a candidate could also mention something they're not fond of to expand their answer, use more or less common language, and give a more detailed answer. For example, the desk is too small, I would like to buy a larger one. Or the curtains let in too much light, which makes it difficult to sleep in the morning. This tip is especially useful in part 2 monologue, and also in part 3, when the questions are more detailed and a little more abstract than the personal ones in part 1. So saying something negative will help push you through the final seconds to make sure that you produce a developed and full and complete answer. So by signing up to one of my courses, you will learn to integrate negative descriptions and opinions coherently into your answers, so you're not left with nothing to say, and you can continue to impress the examiner and to boost your score. We will look at this extensively on the course so that you are able to produce these full answers. Again, the links are in the comments to the courses, and again, 20% off because you're in the webinar. So I want you to transform your speaking skills with tailored coaching, focusing on fluency, coherence, and linguistic range. So whether you choose the 1 month intensive course on speaking, like we had with reading, so it's 4 weeks, 2 hours per week, that focuses solely and intensively on speaking to boost your score, or you choose the 10-week or 20-week 30-hour course that looks at all 4 skills, but of course speaking is a key part of this. Or finally, you have individual classes, which will be with me and tailored to your needs. And in this, we can look at speaking as well as all the other aspects of the exam. And also, again, if you're not sure of which of these 4 options to take, there's links to free consultations in the comments where me and you can look at where you are, where you need to be, and I will help you get from A to B and choose the best score that you need. So now we've looked at a lot of tips of the exam. The question is, why me? Why study with me? Well, it's simple. I'm a qualified teacher with 20 years of experience teaching IELTS. I'm a teacher trainer. I'm an examiner. And also, which means I know what examiners look for. I will get you from where you are to where you want to go. I will analyze the areas you need to work on in order to achieve the score you want. I want you to have this knowledge, because nothing gives me satisfaction than seeing students progress who are motivated and reach the score that they want, even though they've had difficulty getting there before we've started our course. You should choose me as your IELTS teacher because I'm experienced. I have first-hand knowledge of how the test is designed, how it's marked, and the best way to achieve the high score. I've worked in several countries, so I understand the challenges faced by students from different educational and cultural backgrounds. So we can work on that and we can tailor it to your needs. So over the years, I've helped hundreds of learners achieve the score they need to study, work, and settle abroad. We will focus on proven exam strategies, not guesswork. You will know exactly what the examiners are looking for, and all of my lessons have a clear purpose and structure. I specialize in helping students to make rapid progress by targeting the weaknesses and maximizing your strengths efficiently. My students are often shocked at the progress they make just after a couple of lessons, and I want that for you too. So sign up. Again, the links are in the comments. So with my guidance, you will prepare smarter, you will gain confidence, and you will achieve the best results in the shortest time. Again, if you're still not convinced, we can chat about your choices and the journey ahead of you. There is a link in the comments for the free consultation with me. So these, again, is a summary of the courses. You can choose the best course for you. As we said, we have the all skills course, which is listening, reading, writing, or speaking, and it's intensive or the extended one. We have the 10-hour writing only, where we will look at intensively at the writing exam, speaking intensive course on speaking only, or we have the individual lessons, which are tailored to you. They're personalized, and they will be focused on what you need to do, and we will work with you, and it has maximum progress, and you will boost your score, immediately. So, as I mentioned, luckily for you, because you're here, there is 20% off all of these courses until the 31st of January, and it applies to all of the courses that we have looked at. The links are in the comments. So, thank you for joining this webinar. So let's open the floor to any questions that you may have regarding the IELTS exam or our courses. Feel free to ask anything that will help you better understand the exam or how we can assist you in achieving your desired score. I'm not sure if there are any questions. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions that have come up during this webinar, feel free to email us, and we will work with you to address your problems, and we will respond to you as soon as we can. Again, all of the links are in the comments. Sign up now, boost your score. So that concludes our webinar. I hope you found these tips helpful and they bring you one step closer to achieving your IELTS ambitions. Okay, and remember, with the right preparation and support, success is within your reach. Thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you.